Welcome to US Numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare state $quarter coins, those ordinary-looking coins that could actually be worth a fortune. From minting errors to low mintage surprises, these hidden gems might be sitting in your pocket right now. Stay tuned as we uncover the most valuable state quarters that every collector should know about. Top 1 today. We're diving into one of the most underrated yet fascinating coins from the America the Beautiful Quarter series, the 2010 Hot Springs National Park Quarter from the United States of America. This quarter may look like any other coin you might find in your change, but it holds secrets that could make it worth much, much more than 25 cents. In fact, under the right conditions, this small piece of metal could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. So if you've got a 2010 quarter lying around, listen very carefully. You might be holding a piece of hidden treasure in your hands. Let's begin with a little background. The 2010 Hot Springs Quarter was the very first release in the America the Beautiful series, which began in 2010 and ran through 2021. Each coin in the series features a national park or landmark from every U.S. state and territory, and the Hot Springs coin honored the famous Hot Springs National Park in Arkansas, a location known for its healing waters and historical significance. It's a beautiful place, rich in natural history, and this coin pays tribute to it in a truly artistic way. Now, let's talk about the design. On the obverse, you'll see the classic portrait of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan. But it's the reverse that truly steals the show. The Hot Springs Quarter features the facade of the park's headquarters building, with a thermal fountain prominently displayed in front. Steam appears to rise from the fountain, representing the natural hot springs that have made the area famous for centuries. Above the fountain, there's the National Park Service emblem, a subtle but meaningful touch. The detail in the design is truly exquisite, so if you have one of these coins, take a closer look. You'll be amazed by the craftsmanship, but here's where things get really exciting. Most people assume that these quarters are only worth face value. But that's not the case, not even close, if you happen to have the right one. You see, some 2010 Hot Springs quarters come with minting errors or unique variations that make them extremely valuable to collectors. And that's where the real treasure lies. So, what kinds of errors should you be looking for? There are several. One of the most sought after is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die in slightly different positions, causing doubling in the text or details of the design. It can be especially noticeable in the words Hot Springs, Arkansas, or E pluribus unum. That kind of error makes the coin instantly more valuable. Another rare error involves off-center strikes, where the image is not properly aligned during minting. You may also come across die cracks, where small fractures in the die leave raised lines across the coin. Even planchet errors, where the blank metal disc is flawed before being struck, can turn an ordinary quarter into a prized collectible. Now, add to that the condition of the coin. If your 2010 Hot Springs quarter is in uncirculated or mint state condition, meaning it has no scratches, no discoloration, and no signs of wear, then the value can skyrocket, especially if it also has one of the rare errors. Coins graded MS 67 or higher by professional grading services are especially valuable. So, collectors, listen carefully. If you've got a 2010 quarter from Hot Springs that looks unusual or seems perfectly preserved, do not spend it. Get it checked by a professional or submit it for grading. Because now comes the part you've been waiting for. Believe it or not, if you possess one of these rare error coins in uncirculated condition, it could be worth as much as $69,000. Yes, you heard that right, $69,000 for a single state quarter. That's the kind of discovery that turns a casual coin collector into a serious investor overnight. So go check your collections, dig through your change jars, and maybe even take a second look at that quarter in your wallet. Because you never know, the next piece of pocket change you touch might be the key to your next big payday. Top 2. We're talking about the 2007 Idaho State Quarter from the United States of America, a coin that holds far more than just 25 cents of value. Stick around until the end, because you'll want to hear just how much this coin could be worth in today's collector market. If you've got a stash of old quarters at home, or even a few in your wallet, listen carefully. This could be the coin that changes everything. Let's start with a little background. The Idaho quarter was released in 2007 as part of the widely loved 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each quarter in the series celebrated a different state with a unique design, and Idaho's contribution was nothing short of stunning. Now let's take a closer look at the design and symbolism. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll immediately notice the striking image of a peregrine falcon in flight. Known as one of the fastest birds on Earth, the peregrine falcon symbolizes vision, power, and independence, qualities that Idahoans take great pride in. Just behind the falcon is an outline of the state of Idaho itself, with the Latin phrase, Esto perpetua, which means, let it be perpetual. It's a poetic and powerful motto that reflects Idaho's deep connection to its land, people, and natural beauty. Now, while the design alone is enough to make this coin a collector favorite, there's even more to the story, because certain versions of the 2007 Idaho quarter are far more valuable than others. You see, while millions of these quarters were minted and circulated across the country, only a very small number have something extra, minting errors or rare conditions that dramatically boost their value in the numismatic market. So, what kind of errors are we talking about? Let's begin with double die errors. This happens when the coin is struck more than once by the die, causing a doubling effect in the design or lettering. If you notice slight overlaps in the words Idaho, e pluribus unum, or even on the falcon's feathers, you might be looking at a double die error, and that means you're holding something special. Another valuable variation is the off-center strike. That's when the image or text on the coin is noticeably misaligned. Some of these off-center Idaho quarters are so dramatic that part of the design is completely missing. While that may sound like a mistake, collectors love these kinds of flaws because they're rare and unique. There are also planchet errors, where the coin is minted on the wrong metal or size. Imagine finding an Idaho quarter that was accidentally struck on a nickel planchet or missing part of its edge. That kind of oddity makes a coin incredibly desirable, and of course, let's not forget about condition. A 2007 Idaho quarter in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially one graded MS 66 or higher, can command a significant price even without an error. But if it's both uncirculated and has a known error, that's when the value can skyrocket. Collectors are always looking for that perfect mix of rarity, error, and pristine condition. And the Idaho State Quarter checks all those boxes, especially when you find one of those rare, error-filled examples that slipped past quality control at the mint. Now, here comes the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a 2007 Idaho State Quarter with a recognized minting error, in near-perfect uncirculated condition, its value could be as high as $75,000. That's right, $75,000 for a single state quarter. It's hard to believe that a coin you might have gotten in your change could be worth more than a luxury car or even a year's salary, but that's the incredible world of coin collecting. So, collectors and treasure hunters, take this as your sign. Check your jars, your drawers, your old wallets, anywhere coins might be hiding. You never know when one of these seemingly ordinary quarters could turn out to be an extraordinary discovery. Top 3. We're turning our attention to a coin that's not just beautifully designed but could also bring a small fortune into your life if you're lucky enough to own the right one. We're talking about the 2001 Kentucky State Quarter from the United States of America. This coin, part of the wildly popular 50-state quarters program, is one of the standout pieces in the entire series. While it may appear like any other quarter at first glance, certain rare versions of this Kentucky coin have shocked collectors with their value. So sit back, relax, and pay very close attention, because this is one coin story you won't want to miss. Let's start with a little history. Released in 2001, the Kentucky Quarter was the 15th release in the 50-state quarters program. This initiative by the U.S. Mint celebrated each state's history and pride, and when it came to Kentucky, they truly delivered a beautiful and meaningful design. On the reverse side of the Kentucky Quarter, you'll see an elegant depiction of Federal Hill, the historic mansion that inspired the classic song My Old Kentucky Home. In the foreground, a proud thoroughbred horse stands behind a white fence, symbolizing Kentucky's long-standing tradition of horse racing, breeding, and the elegant culture of the bluegrass state. Above it all is the inscription, My Old Kentucky Home, adding a poetic touch to an already stunning coin. It's a tribute to heritage, history, and the beauty of the state all wrapped up in one compact design. But as any coin collector knows, it's not just about how the coin looks, it's about how rare it is, what errors it contains, and what condition it's in. And this is where things get very interesting. Although millions of these coins were minted in 2001, only a very small number contain rare minting errors that send their value skyrocketing. Some of these errors are visible to the naked eye, others are so subtle, you'll need a magnifying glass and a trained eye to catch them. But if you find one, you could be holding something truly valuable. One of the most sought-after errors in the Kentucky quarter is the double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, creating a doubled image, often noticeable in the lettering, numbers, or fine details of the horse and mansion. The result is a coin with unusual outlines or ghost-like duplication in the design. If you notice any doubling on your 2001 Kentucky quarter, do not ignore it. It could be a rare variation worth investigating. Another valuable error is the off-center strike, where the coin design is misaligned. Some of these coins can be significantly off-center, with part of the design missing entirely. While it may seem like a manufacturing mistake, collectors actually love these flaws because they're rare and unexpected. You might also come across die cracks, cut errors, or even clipped planchets. Each of these minting mishaps creates a one-of-a-kind coin, and that uniqueness is what drives up the value. And let's not forget about condition. Coins that have been in circulation often lose their shine and detail. But if you happen to own a Kentucky state quarter that has never been used, a coin that's in uncirculated, mint state condition, especially one graded MS 67 or higher, it could already be quite valuable. Combine that pristine condition with a rare mint error, and you've got a collector's dream in your hands. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. If you are lucky enough to own a 2001 Kentucky state quarter that contains one of these minting errors and is preserved in perfect or near perfect condition, it could be worth an incredible $85,000. Yes, you heard that right, $85,000 for a single quarter. Imagine finding that in your change or your old coin jar at home. That's not just a fun find, that's a life-changing discovery. So now is the time to check your collections, examine those quarters in your wallet, and maybe even look through that dusty drawer of old coins. You never know when one of these rare Kentucky state quarters could appear, and if it does, you'll be glad you knew what to look for. Top 4. We're talking about the 2015 Kisatchie National Forest quarter, part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, and this coin has quietly become a sought-after gem in the world of numismatics. Now, let's start by looking at what makes this quarter so special. Released in 2015, this coin honors the Kisatchie National Forest in the great state of Louisiana. It was the second release that year in the America the Beautiful series, which began in 2010 and continued until 2021. Each coin in the series features a different national park or historic site, showcasing the natural and cultural heritage of the United States. On the reverse side of the Kisatchie quarter, you'll find a powerful and dynamic image, a wild turkey in flight, soaring above the longleaf pine trees that dominate the forest. This design captures the raw, untamed beauty of Kisatchie and the vibrant wildlife that lives there. The longleaf pine is an essential part of the region's ecosystem, and the wild turkey symbolizes strength, survival, and the untamed spirit of nature. Beneath the wild turkey, the words Kisatchie, Louisiana, and 2015 are boldly inscribed, and while the artwork itself is stunning, this coin's real treasure lies in its rarity and hidden minting errors. Here's where it gets exciting for collectors. Though millions of Kisatchie quarters were minted and circulated throughout the U.S., only a very limited number feature rare minting errors or exist in flawless, uncirculated condition. And these are the quarters that can turn an ordinary find into an extraordinary payday. One of the most valuable errors found on the Kisatchie quarter is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die at a slightly different angle, causing a ghost-like duplication of the design or lettering. You may see this in the wings of the wild turkey or in the words, United States of America, Kisatchie, or E pluribus unum. These doubled elements are a red flag for collectors, a very good kind of red flag. Another type of error that can make this quarter highly valuable is the off-center strike. When the coin isn't properly aligned during minting, part of the design may be pushed off to one side or even partially missing. These coins are rare and almost always draw attention when they appear at auctions, but that's not all. Some Kisatchie quarters have been found with clipped planchets, die cracks, or cuds, where a part of the die breaks off and leaves a raised blob of metal on the coin. Each of these errors increases the uniqueness of the coin and its appeal to serious collectors, and here's the kicker: condition matters more than you think. A regular Kisatchie quarter that has been circulating in people's pockets may only be worth face value. But one that has never been touched, handled carefully, and preserved in uncirculated mint state condition, especially graded MS67 or higher? Now that's where the real value begins. Imagine finding one of these rare error coins in pristine condition, tucked away in a forgotten roll of quarters or resting unnoticed in a coin jar. It's the kind of discovery that makes every coin collector's heart skip a beat. So now, let's talk numbers. If you happen to have a 2015 Kisatchie National Forest quarter with one of these rare errors, and it's in perfect uncirculated condition, its value could reach an astonishing $90,000. Yes, you heard that right, 90,000 United States dollars for a single 25-cent coin. A small piece of metal that most people would overlook could, in the right circumstances, change your financial future. So what are you waiting for? Start searching through your change, dig into those old coin rolls, and examine your collection closely. You might be holding onto a treasure without even knowing it. Top 5. We're talking about the 2002 Louisiana State Quarter, and if you've got one hiding in your pocket, change jar, or old collection box, you might want to take a closer look. Because this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth an eye-popping amount of money, if you have the right one. Let's begin with the basics. The Louisiana State Quarter was released in 2002 as the 18th coin in the U.S. Mint's celebrated 50 State Quarters program. This series aimed to honor each state's history, culture, and unique contributions to the nation, and Louisiana was no exception. With its melting pot of French, African, Spanish, and American traditions, Louisiana's quarter had a lot to represent, and it did so beautifully. The reverse design of this coin is a powerful tribute to Louisiana's deep roots and vibrant culture. It features an outline of the state itself, with a trumpet and musical notes dancing across the surface, symbolizing Louisiana's legendary jazz heritage. But that's not all. It also shows the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, with the words Louisiana Purchase, and an image of the historic territory map that doubled the size of the United States. It's a design packed with history, music, and identity, and that alone makes it an eye-catching piece for any collection. But as any true coin enthusiast knows, the story doesn't end with what's on the surface. It's what's hidden beneath, the rarity, the condition, and those elusive minting errors, that turns a simple state quarter into something truly valuable. Now let's talk about what collectors are really after. Even though hundreds of millions of Louisiana quarters were minted in 2002, only a tiny fraction have surfaced with rare minting errors or in exceptionally preserved condition. These rare varieties are what drive up value in the world of numismatics. One of the most valuable and sought-after errors found on the Louisiana quarter is the double die. If your coin has been struck twice, causing a doubling of the images or lettering, you've got something special. You'll want to check the details closely, especially around the trumpet, the musical notes, or the words United States of America and E pluribus unum. A subtle ghosting effect, or doubled edges, could indicate a double die error, and that can skyrocket a coin's value. There are also reports of off-center strikes, where the coin design is not properly aligned. In some cases, a large portion of the design may be pushed to one side or even cut off entirely. These coins are rare and highly desirable among error collectors. Another fascinating variant involves clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin's edge is missing due to a flaw during the cutting process at the mint. These irregularities may seem like defects to the untrained eye, but for collectors, they represent uniqueness and rarity, and that means value. And don't forget the importance of coin condition. A Louisiana quarter that's been jingling around in someone's pocket for the last 20 years probably won't fetch more than face value. But one that has been preserved in pristine mint state condition, untouched, and graded at MS 67 or higher? Now that's a different story. Combine that kind of condition with a rare mint error, and you're looking at something truly special. So, what's the payoff for this coin treasure hunt? If you happen to own a 2002 Louisiana state quarter that includes one of these rare minting errors and is in excellent, uncirculated condition, its value could reach a jaw-dropping $95,000. Yes, you heard it right. 95,000 United States dollars for a single 25-cent coin. That's more than most people make in an entire year, all wrapped into a small disc of metal sitting quietly in someone's drawer, waiting to be discovered. So take this as a sign, it's time to start checking those coins more carefully. Go through your change, dig out that old coin collection, and keep your eyes peeled for anything that stands out. You might be just one coin away from finding your own hidden fortune. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and love discovering the hidden stories and values behind ordinary coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got many more exciting coin adventures coming your way. Until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and may your next coin surprise you in the best way possible.